Hello, everyone. And now, I love Man of Steel so much. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, and I would say one of my favorite movies of all time. I love this film so much, and in my opinion, this is the best Superman film ever made. People talk a lot about the Christopher Reeves Superman films, and while I do think they are good, especially the first one, for me nothing comes close to Man of Steel. I love this film so much. We get to see Superman's origin story. We get to see how hard it was for Clark to be on Earth. I I hear people complain about the scene where Jonathan Kent and Clark talk about Clark saving a bus full of kids and they say how dumb it is that Jonathan he doesn't know what to say when Clark asks, "But should I have left him to die?" And he says, "Maybe." The, the thing is, that is very much a point throughout the entire film, and something that Jonathan is showing throughout the entire film, which is Clark Kent is not human. And this is something I think many people forget with Superman. Like, Clark Kent is not human. He's not. And if people knew who he really was, what he could do, this would terrify them. This would make him an outcast. The movie even states this before, like on Krypton. Like we see his mother say they're gonna make him an outcast, and we see how much Jonathan Kent puts into Clark. That hey, the world will be ready to see you, but like when the world's ready, they will see who you really are. But you have to wait. You have to wait until you're ready. You can't show them right now when you're a little kid because the US government will take him away. Like his mother even says that. She was always afraid that they would take Clark Kent away. Now, and like he's told throughout the entire movie, don't use your powers until you're older. Also, I just love Henry Cavill as Superman in this film. He is definitely my favorite version of Superman. I hear people complain about how this version of Superman is too dark and too sad to be Superman, but the thing is, I prefer that over anything else. This version of Superman, he feels more real. He feels like an actual real person from the moment we see him. He has to hide who he really is because of that fear that people will get by just knowing who he truly is. They will reject him. They will fear him. They will out make him an outcast. So he tries to hide it. Like he tries his best to hide it. He doesn't know what he is supposed to do for most of his life. And even when he becomes Superman, he still doesn't know. He still doesn't know exactly what he needs to do until basically the end of the film. And like unlike Christopher Reeve Superman, it actually takes him a long time before we actually see Superman in action, which I actually quite like. I like that it actually takes some time before we actually see Superman become Superman and save people. Which I know many people complain that Superman doesn't save people in this film, but you are wrong. You are so wrong in this. He saves many people throughout this film. He saves like people on an oil rig. He saves the kids on the bus. He saves soldiers during the battle of like Smallville. He saved some people in Battle of Metropolis, and he saved the entire world from Zod and the Kryptonians. He saves many people throughout this film, and but the thing is, he's also fighting super soldiers who need his full attention. He cannot he cannot go somewhere else while the Kryptonians are fighting and killing people. I'm sorry that he doesn't stop fighting the main villain to spend like 10 minutes saving an entire group of people, like in the Avengers. This fight, the fights in this movie, they keep Superman on his feet. There is no time for Superman to actually save everyone. This is obvious with the first fight scene. with Superman not only struggling to fight them, but also pay attention to anything else and making sure people are safe. He cannot do that. He cannot pay attention to something else. He literally has to focus solely on these Kryptonians, who, by the way, they beat him up the entire movie. They are so much stronger. He doesn't have time to go and save people because the Kryptonian soldiers are in front of him, causing massive damage, destruction, and they're killing like soldiers and like innocent people. He doesn't have time to go and save a whole bunch of people. The villain will not wait. Which, like, I hear many people complain about this, and I'm just like, why? Like, are you serious? Not only is this a Superman who he just became Superman not that long ago, fighting people who their entire life they're trained to be soldiers. But and like people complain about the damage and the destruction that these fights cost. But this is what a real superhero fight would actually look like. I am sorry that this isn't the Avengers or the entire MCU. And I want to make it clear that I do love the MCU. I love the Avengers films. In-game, not so much. I think Infinity War was a lot better. However, I don't like that there's these big, secluded fight scenes in the films that never make it clear how dangerous these fights actually are. And now, I don't know about anyone else, but I love the destruction in both Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, because this is what a real superhero fight would look like. You might all think that superhero fights would be fine and there would be no damages or anything, but you're wrong. We don't live in comic book land. Superheroes are extremely powerful and can be dangerous, and this is what Man of Steel shows, just how dangerous these types of powers actually are and how much damage they would actually do. I also actually really like Lois Lane in this film. Not only do I love the actress who plays her, Amy Adams, but I just love her character in general. Christopher Reeve's version of Lois Lane I actually don't really like because for me, she's nothing more but a love interest for Superman. However, this version of Lois Lane I love so much. It really shows just how great of a journalist she is with just finding Clark Kent, especially after years of Clark covering his tracks. She is also actually able to kick some ass in this film, as well by shooting down some Kryptonians and even helps them in destroying the world engine. She plays such a huge role in this film, and I love just how much time the film gives to Lois Lane. I also love that Lois Lane actually learns very quickly that Clark Kent is Superman, rather than her not knowing and Superman hiding it from her, since it honestly makes her more active in the story. And lastly, I want to talk about the final fight between Superman and Zod, which in my opinion is one of the best fight scenes in movie history. I love it that much. I love this fight so much because we see just how powerful Zod truly is and just how much damage this fight causes, which by the way, most of it is from Zod and the World Engine, not Superman. The fights look so great, and in my opinion, this is something Zack Snyder does perfectly in both Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Everything is so fast-paced, and I love it. And Superman was losing the entire fight because Zod is a super soldier who has been fighting his entire life. And I like that at the end of the film, Superman had no other choice. Zod made it very clear he was never going to stop. Zod even told him that he wouldn't stop. People wonder why Superman doesn't bring the battle somewhere else. Not only does Superman try to do this multiple times throughout this fight and every other fight he's been in this movie, but he also fails and they bring him right back to the towns and city. They bring him right back. And Zod wouldn't stop. He was going to kill every single human. Zod made this very clear. And this might just be me, but I love Superman being challenged. And just characters in general being challenged. Stuff like this is what made me love Superman. This film made me love Superman because I saw that Superman was not Mr. Perfect, that I once thought he was. Instead, he's a man who has godlike powers, and he decides to use them for good. But he still makes a lot of mistakes. He doesn't do everything right. Even with these powers, he isn't perfect. He makes many mistakes, many problems, and has to make choices that he doesn't know if is right or wrong. But he makes mistakes and he has to deal with the consequences of those actions. This film made me love Superman, and I'm not afraid to say that Man of Steel is one of my favorite superhero films and favorite films ever. I really do love this movie so much. Zack Snyder does such a fantastic job with not only Superman, but also Batman, which I made a video on. Like, I've already made a video talking about why I really like uh, Bat, like Zack Snyder's version of Batman, and all the other DC superheroes he has done. I wish he was honestly in charge of the rest of the DC movies just because of not only this film, but also Batman vs. Superman. And also Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I've seen only a little bit. Like, I've seen clips of it, and it looks really good. I haven't seen all of it yet. I'm hoping to see it very soon. But I love Man of Steel so much. It's one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite Superman movie, and in my opinion, it is the best Superman movie of all time.